I'm Carl Dix. I'm down with the Revolutionary Communist Party, and I want to talk to you about the upcoming anniversary of the vigilante murder of Trayvon Martin and what we must do on that day and leading up to that day. February 26th, 1 year since the vigilante murder of Trayvon Martin. We are all still Trayvon. Take to the streets on February 26th. Wear your hoodies like me. February 26th is 1 year since the vigilante murder of Trayvon Martin. 1 year since George Zimmerman saw Trayvon, a 17-year-old wearing a hoodie, and decided this black youth must be up to no good. 1 year since Zimmerman followed Trayvon and gunned him down. 1 year since the Sanford, Florida cops walked Zimmerman into and then out of the police station, letting him go free, citing Florida's racist stand your ground law. It took powerful outpourings of protest spreading all across the country to force the state of Florida to rearrest Zimmerman and to charge him for the crime of murdering Trayvon. This anniversary must be marked by powerful outpourings all across the country, with people wearing hoodies, many people wearing hoodies. The Stop Mass Incarceration Network has called for everybody who hates the way Black and Latino youth are treated as less than human to take their outrage to the streets in cities and towns across the country at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on February 26th. Now, before Trayvon was murdered, almost nobody outside of Sanford, Florida knew who he was. But everybody felt the sting of his murder. It reminded many people of the bullseye this society has long placed on the backs of black youth. This sentiment drove millions into the streets filled with rage. Wearing hoodies and having bags of Skittles became symbols of resistance. Trayvon wasn't the first one to be murdered like this, and he hasn't been the last. Emmett Till was lynched by a white mob in 1954 in Money, Mississippi, for supposedly whistling at a white woman. Just last November 23rd, Jordan Davis was murdered in Jacksonville, Florida, by a white man who said Jordan's music was too loud. That killer fled the scene and only later turned himself in, claiming he was standing his ground against the black youth armed with a shotgun that nobody has yet been able to find. Is this a declaration of open season on black youth? We have to stand up on February 26th and say that we will not accept this in silence. Trayvon could have been any black youth. He could have been my nephew. He could have been your brother, your cousin, or your son. The racial profiling that led to his murder is the same thing that has led to almost 2.4 million people, most of them black or Latino, being warehoused in prisons across the U.S., more than in any other country in the world. It's the same thing that leads to hundreds of killings by police every single year in this country, with almost all of the killer cops getting away without being punished in any way. The backdrop for all of this murder and brutality and horror is the way generations of youth are growing up in inner cities across the country with no hope for the future, no jobs to survive or raise families on, and confronting an education system that's geared to fail them. Trayvon's murder and how the cops dealt with it is rooted in the way this society has criminalized black and Latino youth, treating them as guilty until proven innocent, if they can survive to prove their innocence. The rage that millions of us had in response to this murder has to be shown again by taking to the streets, wearing our hoodies, carrying bags of Skittles all across the country on February 26th. I mean, it's just racist, it's unjust, and it's illegitimate for the authorities to give racist vigilantes and killer cops a green light to murder our youth like their lives are worthless. It has to stop, and it will take our determined action to stop it. Trayvon's parents courageously stood up and called for justice for their murdered son, even as they struggled with the overwhelming grief they felt upon his loss. We must match their courage and determination in taking to the streets on the anniversary of his murder. On that day, if you're somebody who wants to see a better future for the youth, you must defiantly protest the way this system criminalizes them. Young people must be out in the streets. Youth who were hurt to their hearts to hear of Trayvon's murder and be reminded of the target this society puts on their backs. Youth who cried, "We are all Trayvon." They got to be the ones right up in front and doing this. And the rest of us need to be just a little bit behind them, not too far behind. Pour into the streets and cities and towns all across the country. Act on your campus too. Blow the whistle on all this stuff. Demand that Black and Latino youth not be treated as fair game for police and racist vigilantes. Demand that their humanity be recognized. Wear hoodies on February 26th. And take pictures of yourself, your friends, your classmates, your teammates, and post those pictures everywhere you can. Put them up on Facebook. Send tweets out about them. And use the hashtag #hoodies2-26 to spread the message everywhere you can. Mobilize at your schools. Mobilize in your neighborhoods, at your workplaces, and everywhere else. This is the kind of resistance that's needed to show that we will accept nothing less than justice for Trayvon. And it's the kind of resistance that's needed to take on all the abuse this criminal justice system heaps on Black and Latino people. It's up to us to demand an end to these kind of horrors and to act to make sure they end. Come together nationwide and say in one loud, clear, and united voice, no more. It matters if we do this. If we don't do it in a powerful way, we're saying that it's okay with us that Black youth, Latino youth have a bullseye on their backs. But if we do this standing united, strong, and powerful, then we are saying no more of this stuff. We will no longer accept it. We will act in a united way to stop this and all of the other attacks from coming down in unjust ways on the people. February 26th. Act on that day. Be in the streets. Be standing together. We are all Trayvon. The whole damn system is guilty. That's it. Carl Dix, I'm out.